In the two previous parts of our course, we were making the front cover of our tourist catalogue. In this part, we'll make the back cover of the catalogue. Let's see how it will look in printing. If we would print the cover, both sides would be connected together, so the front would be placed on the right and the back would be placed on the left. Both covers would be connected together and printed on one sheet of paper. Now we'll talk about the bleed limit and explain its use. As we've said before, in print, front cover is connected with the back cover. Because of this, we can't make the bleed limit on the left. So what exactly is the bleed? It takes part in the very last stage of printing. After the catalogue is printed and put together, it's trimmed to size by a guillotine. In our case, only 3 sides of the catalogue would be trimmed. So the bleed limit tells us that the elements of the cover should go outside the printing area. Then, when we cut it, we'll be sure that the format will be maintained without leaving white space on our print. I'm doing this now only to show you how it's done. The background figure doesn't play any role in the cover composition, so we can scale it disproportionately without worrying about the look of our project. Let's go back to the bleed limit. As you can see, we can't make a bleed limit on the right. Press Ctrl Z and we'll make this bleed limit more precisely. So we can't make a bleed limit on the right because it's where our back and front cover are connected. That's why there's no bleed limit on the right of the back cover. The printing area is indicated by these guidelines, which we've set in the last part of our course. In this case, making the bleed limit is pretty easy. We can just disproportionately upscale the figure. When we do it like this, it's still a good bleed limit. But let's just say that we can't do it like that. Let's say we need to make the bleed limit and we can't just upscale the background. We already know that we can't create a bleed limit on the right. We'll now create extra guidelines which will indicate the bleed limit area. Create the first guideline. Now that this guillotine is selected, we can change its position. There are many different theories about the size of the bleed limit. Let's set our bleed limit to 0.118 of an inch. It's more than enough. Put 0.118 in the X value and press enter. The first guideline is ready. Make another guideline at the bottom. Change the X to 0.118 and press enter. Now, make one more guideline at the top. The page height is 11, so we need to set the Y position to 11.118. Input this number into the Y position and press enter. Well, we've made a little mistake in our calculation. Change the Y value to 11.811 and press enter. All guidelines are now ready. We have 3 guidelines, one on the left, one at the top and one at the bottom. Go to View menu, then Snap to and click on Snap to Guidelines. Don't forget that we're still talking about bleed limit. The guidelines we've just made indicate the bleed limit area. So what we need to remember is that the object that is at the very end of the page should go outside the printing area. As we've already said, our assumption is that we can't scale this figure proportionally. Go to Arrange menu, then Transform, and click on Size. As you can see, the Transformations docker appeared on the right. Activate the Proportional option. Now click on the middle right point of this little grid. Select the orange figure, which is also the background for our cover. Make sure that the middle right point is selected on this grid. Once we click Apply, our figure will change its size. Top, bottom and left side will be snapped to the bleed limit guidelines. The left side will get bigger by 0.236 inches. Let's start editing the Transformations Docker options. First, we need to add 0.236 to the current Y value, 11.693. It will be 11.929. Change the Y value to 11.929 and click Apply. The figure is now bigger on the left top and bottom. The right size is still at the edge of the page. So we've just proportionally upscaled the background figure. Let's see how it looks when we zoom in. As you can see, the figure goes outside the bleed limit area, so everything is okay. At the top and the bottom, the bleed limit area is filled and the right side is at the edge of the page. We can say that we've successfully created a bleed limit. When this cover will be printed in the print house, it will be trimmed to size by cutting it right here. The bleed limit will also be cut off to ensure that the cover is in A4 format. The printing area is the area indicated by these 4 guidelines. The guillotine will cut the print out and the cover will be ready. Now we'll create this back cover. Go to the File menu and click on New. Set the size to A4, change the units to inches and click OK. We already know how to create a guideline. Make a guideline on the left and change its X position to 0. Well, let's select and delete the guideline we've just created. We'll make our work easier by using guideline presets. Go to the View menu, then Setup and click on Guideline Setup. Go to Presets section, activate the Page Borders preset and click OK. Go to the View menu, then Snap to and then click on Snap to Guidelines. Let's start making the cover. We'll now create the background figure. Of course, we can simply create a rectangle, change its size and position it inside the printing area. There is an easier way to do this. Click twice on the rectangle tool icon. By doing this, we've created a rectangle which is as big as the page itself. Let's now change the colour of this figure. As we've said before, we're using CMYK palette. Go to the Fill tool icon menu and click on Uniform Fill. Switch to Models tab. As you can see, the CMYK model is already selected. Change the CMYK values to 0, 40, 100 and 0. Just change the values of magenta to 40 and yellow to 100. Change the CMYK values and click OK. As you can see, our figure colour is now orange. Our figure has an outline. Since the figure is as big as the page, we need to delete the outline. Go to Pen tool icon menu and click on No Outline. For now, we'll make everything within this main area. Just remember that some crucial elements of the project shouldn't be placed really close to the edge of the page. All crucial elements should be placed at least 5 mm away from the edge. Now we'll lock this figure so it wouldn't get in our way when we'll be making other elements of the cover. Go to Arrange menu and click on Lock Object. Switch to Rectangle tool and draw the first rectangle at the centre of the page. We need 4 rectangles that will serve as clipping masks for the photos. We'll now change the width and height of a rectangle. Deactivate the Proportions lock. Change the width to 3 and the height to 2 inches. After changing each value, press Enter. So this is how all rectangles will look. We need to duplicate this rectangle and place the copy directly under the original figure. There are several ways to do this. First, duplicate the figure, use the copy and paste option, or just press the plus key on the numeric keypad. Hold Ctrl and drag the middle top transformation handle down. Now press the plus key on the numeric keypad and create another duplicate. Hold Ctrl and drag the top middle transformation handle down. Repeat this action again and make one more rectangle. You should now have 4 rectangles in total. Select all 4 rectangles and align them. But before we can align these figures, we need to group them first. So go to Arrange menu and click on Group. This way, the selection will be treated as one object. As you can see, Align and Distribute icon disappeared from our property bar. Why is that? It's because the group is treated as one object. Instead of aligning 2 objects, we align one object with the edge of the document's page. Go to Arrange menu and access the Align and Distribute submenu. Here we have some of this palette's options. Let's click on the last position, Align and Distribute. We can also activate this palette by using the shortcut Ctrl Shift and A. Click on the Align Center horizontally icon and Align Center vertically icon. Now go to the Align Objects to section of the palette and click on the Page Edge icon. Now we can align the selected figure with the page edge. This icon right here will center the object on our page. Let's click on the Page Center icon. Let's move the object to the side and we'll try it again. If we don't use any icons from the Align section, the Align Objects to part of the palette won't be active. So let's click a random icon in the Align section and then click on Page Center icon. Here we have 4 Align icons: Active Objects, Page Edge, Page Center, Grid and Specified Point. To see how these icons work, we can just activate one and try to align our figure. By just playing with these options, we can learn quite a bit. Let's click here, then here. Let's choose the Page Center icon and align these figures down. When we do that, the program will treat the center line as the bottom line and align the top of the figure to it. So we can easily get to know all options from this palette by just playing with them. Close the palette. That was the first way to make these rectangular clipping masks. Let's now learn another way in which we can create these rectangles. Let's move this rectangle to our page. We can use alignment guides or snapping option. We can use this to correctly position the rest of the rectangles. Go to View menu, then Snap to and click on Snap to Objects. Press F2 and select the area to zoom. Switch to wireframe view so we can see it a little better. Move your cursor over the top left node. A node prompt will appear. Drag the rectangle by this node and place it right under the original figure. Keep holding the left mouse button and click with the right mouse button. This way we've made the first copy. Select both rectangles and repeat this action. The first part is ready. Select all rectangles and group them. Now go to Arrange menu, then Align and Distribute, and click on Align and Distribute to activate the palette. We can also do it right here in this menu. Click on the Center to Page option. We can do the same thing by just pressing the P key. Another way to do this is to just activate the whole palette and do it exactly as we've done before. Now we'll talk about the last technique in which we can create these rectangles, alignment guides. Go to View menu and click on Alignment Guides. Now we can easily duplicate the rectangle and position each copy in its place. As you can see, this is the quickest option. We've already created 4 rectangles. Select all figures, go to Arrange menu and click on Group. Go to Arrange menu and then Align and Distribute. Then click Center of Page or activate the palette. If you have activated the palette, first align the figure vertically, and horizontally, and then click Page Center icon. Go to the View menu and switch back to normal view. To create clipping masks from these rectangles, we have to first ungroup them. Select the group, go to Arrange menu and click on Ungroup. Select the left rectangle and set its color to white. Now we'll import the photos. Go to File menu and click on Import. Select 3 random photos and click Import. You can now either click to place the photo or draw a box which will indicate the size of the photo. Just remember that when we draw the size of the imported photo, the program will automatically rescale this photo. This is the original size of the picture, and these are scale pictures. Of course, we can now upscale or downscale this photo. Pixel graphic can be described by 3 features: width, height and resolution. So each time we downscale the picture, the resolution gets bigger, but when we upscale the picture, the resolution is getting smaller. It's an important thing to know if we want to avoid ugly pixelated photos. To place these photos in the rectangles we've created, we'll use the Power Clip tool. Select the photo, go to Effects, then Power Clip and click on Place Inside Frame. Now select the rectangle in which you want to place the photo. Under the frame we have a little toolbar. It's a very convenient way to edit and modify both the frame and its contents. Click on Edit Power Clip icon. We can now change the position of the photo. To exit this mode, click on the icon under the photo. Let's say that we don't know which photo we want to place next. Select the second and the third rectangle. We can now convert these rectangles into empty frames. Go to the Effects menu, then Power Clip and click on, well, we don't need to convert one rectangle at a time. Select one rectangle, go to Effects menu, then Power Clip and click on Create Empty Power Clip Frame. If we select 2 elements, this option won't be active. Click on the side to deselect. Now select the second rectangle. It's not really convenient to convert these rectangles one by one. Select both rectangles, click on them with the right mouse button. Well, here the option isn't active as well. This tells us that we need to convert them separately. Click on the second rectangle with the right mouse button, go to Frame Type submenu and click on Create Empty Power Clip Frame. Repeat the same action with the third rectangle. Now we have 2 empty frames in which we can place our photos. Move the photo over the second frame. Once it's over the frame, release the mouse button. Press Ctrl Z to undo the changes. There is a way to convert several rectangles to empty frames all at the same time. Select these rectangles and group them. Now go to Effects menu and access the Power Clip submenu. As you can see, the Create Empty Power Clip Frame option is now active. So when we want to convert several figures into empty frames, we need to first group these figures. Convert the selected rectangles to empty frames. Go to Arrange menu and click Ungroup. Now we have 2 separate empty frames. It's much quicker this way, so let's remember about this technique. Now we can place our photos inside these frames. We can also place a figure in this frame. We can create a clipping mask for all kinds of objects and figures. Place a second photo into the third frame. All photos are now placed in the clipping mask. Select all objects and go to Arrange menu and click on Group. Now, let's delete the outline of this figure. Move your mouse over the white square with the X over it. Click on it with the right mouse button. You can do the same thing by accessing the pen tool icon menu and clicking on No Outline option. Select the figure, hold Ctrl and move the figure down. As you can see, there's a problem. When we hold Ctrl, the program thinks that we want to select one of the grouped objects. Moving grouped objects is slightly different than moving one object. When we hold Ctrl and move a normal figure, we move it straight up, down, left or right. Actually, we don't need to hold Ctrl because the alignment guides are active, but we'll learn this anyway. We don't know when this knowledge might come in handy. So, first click on the object, hold the mouse button and now press and hold Ctrl. By changing the order of these actions, we can move the group over a straight line, but to save ourselves all these troubles, we can simply activate the alignment guides.